Hey everybody, Matt here from Matt's Movies, Music and More, welcoming you to this week's episode of my movie reviews. The movie I'm talking about today is a box office flop, let's put it that way. And it's a movie which has the weirdest title, I guess, but I will tell you what I call it and what the movie's called. So the movie's full title is The First $20 Million is Always the Hardest, but I just call it First 20 Million. The movie is directed by Mick and is starring Adam Garcia, Rosario Dawson and Jake Busey. The movie is an unusual one because when it was released in 2002 in America, this was made with a budget of $17 million, would you believe? 17! And according to its box office, this is from Wikipedia Facts, it took $5,000. A huge flop and considered widely one of the biggest flops of all time. And it's a shame because the movie is actually quite a lot of fun, but to me it is not a theatrical movie. This to me is a straight to DVD film, and the fact that it got theatrically released is a real surprise because it's not something that I would see an audience really wanting to check out, to be honest. But I'll explain what the movie is about anyways. Adam Garcia plays Andy Casper. Casper works in marketing in a high-paid job, and he's got a cushy life. He's got a cool friend who is enjoying life, buying up .coms and stuff like that, because this was at the early days of the early 2000s, where the .com industry was really sort of going in that direction. And he's got his girlfriend as well, and but he's enjoying his life. But at the same time, he gets like an epiphany sort of moment, which is that he kind of wants to build something because he has a background in engineering, and he wants to get hired for a research company called La Honda. And La Honda is basically Google now. Let's just call it that. That's what La Honda is in the movie. It's basically what you see as Google in, like, say, a movie like The Internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. Basically what that looks like in the Google world is kind of like what La Honda looked like in that film, and that was in 2002. And he goes to La Honda and he meets Francis Benoit, who's played by the brilliant Enrico Colantoni, who many people will know played the main alien on the goodies side in Galaxy Quest. The character's name I cannot remember, but he was the one that was in, like, he was going like, "You are our last hope." And basically what happens in this movie is that he manages to get a transfer to La Honda, thanks to his company having ties with them. And Benoit immediately despises Casper, and he doesn't want him to be working with him whatsoever, but obviously he's there to work with him. So as he's gotten his transfer to this new job and stuff, and the fact that it's not as high paid as it was when he was at his marketing job, his girlfriend leaves him, and obviously she's now seeing his former best friend, so now straight away she's dumped him because he's poor, because now he's living on like a campus kind of thing. He's living there in a average house with lots of other people, and he's got the neighbour that lives next door, which is played by the beautiful Rosario Dawson, who plays Alyssa, and she's a sculptor who likes silence. She doesn't have any possessions, which is something he mentions in the movie, because he's all about tech, whereas she likes tranquility and not a lot really going on in her life and stuff. And when he tries to sort of make his move on her and stuff, he says, "I work for La Honda," and she's like, "What, the car company?" He's like, no, the famous research company. And she's like, "I've never heard of it." And basically what happens is when he goes back to Francis Benoit, he says, "Look, I really want to be on your team, which is called the Titans." And he says, "You've got no chance being on the Titans this year. However, you may have an opportunity next year if you do an assignment which may get you on the program." And the assignment is called PC-99. And this is the whole idea of the movie, is that he's been told by Francis Benoit that the thing that will get him on the project is if he can build a PC that will retail for $99, which back in 2002 would have been absolutely amazing if that could happen. Obviously now we live in a world where we have tablets, so realistically that has happened. But in this movie, all we had in the PC world was desktop PCs and laptops. We didn't have smartphones, we didn't have tablets. So you watch this as a movie now, kind of in a universe kind of completely detached now from what we have. This was the early days of the internet when this movie came out. But going back to the film's plot, in order to get some help doing the PC-99, he gets the opportunity to sign up some people that haven't been already snapped up by other teams on the campus. So he picks up 3 people that are the only ones that are left, which is Salman Farad, who is an Asian guy who is claiming he can hack into the CIA, and he also says that he has a girlfriend, which, as we find out throughout the movie, is kind of untrue because he hasn't met her, but he talks online with her. And you've got Curtis, who his nickname is Tiny, who's played by the brilliant Ethan Suplee, who is he's called Tiny because obviously he's a huge guy in size, and he's very good at doing coding and stuff like that, but he's a very quiet guy, gets a little bit anxious and likes to keep himself to himself. And then you got Daryl, played by Jake Busey, who is a guy who he loves himself, and he only cares about himself and refers to himself in the third person always. So he's going like, Daryl doesn't like this project, or Daryl wants to drive your car, or whatever. And he has a bit of a weird fear because he likes to put like a sanitizer type thing on his hands when he puts his hands into gloves and stuff like that, because he's very OCD about cleanliness and stuff. And that's basically Casper's team. So he's kind of been given the misfits. So he's expected by Benoit to completely fail in this attempt to build a PC for $99 to sell. And everyone knows it's a joke because there's no way this can ever be achieved. And Casper takes it really seriously to the point that he is looking at ways to figure out how to do it. And he makes a list on the whiteboard of like, what does a PC need? Like, does it need a floppy drive? Does it need a CD-ROM drive? Does it need a graphics card, a sound card, the monitor, the printer, and all this? And they're having to try and figure out how to eliminate all that and have as little as possible. So the movie is really all about the progress of trying to build the PC-99, and with getting Alyssa involved, she has a hand in trying to sculpture the shell or the casing for the PC-99 when they make it. And basically Francis Benoit is kind of trying to get them out of the Honda, so to the point that he says, well, look, we're not going to fund you anymore, so you sign this non-disclosure waiver so that you can leave, but we retain part of the rights for this potential program that you're working on. So they have to try and work on that. And it's really a movie about it's like most sports movies where you have the underdogs and the underdogs will come through triumphantly. It really surprises you with how the film is, because it's a comedy. It's classed as a comedy. I don't see it as a comedy. I mean, it's a fun movie, but I watched it. I remember watching it the day it came out on DVD in the UK. I used to work in a video rental shop, and it was one of those films that came out that it didn't really have much attention to it or anything like that, but I kind of liked the look of the cover, and I thought I'd check it out at the time, and I thought it was a really good movie. It was a film I owned for a short time as well, and I hadn't seen it probably in about maybe 10 years, and yeah, it is dated now when you look at it with tablets and smartphones being around, but back then, big deal. And Adam Garcia had just been coming off the success of his appearance in Coyote Ugly, and you had the director Mick Jackson, who is an English director. I believe he was famous before this for directing The Bodyguard, starring Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. So he had actual credentials, but I think this may have been the last movie he directed at present. He's still alive. I think this is the last movie he directed, maybe because the film underperformed so much that he probably couldn't get hired. But it's a weird one because Rosario Dawson's fantastic in this movie, and I've always been a big fan of her. In fact, this was the first movie I saw her in, because I know a few years prior to this she had done the Josie and the Pussycats movie, but that wasn't really something that caught my eye. But this film, I thought, was I like it. I like it for what it is, but it's nothing special. It's really one of those movies that I can imagine it being on television, like either the late night, you know, after 12 o'clock, and you come home from the pub, and you just want to put something on to fall asleep to, and you might channel hop and you might catch this and you watch it and see it like that. Or it could be one of those films that gets shown on a Sunday afternoon at like 3 o'clock or something like that. It does have a little bit of bad language, a little bit of sexual humour and stuff, but not really much. It is available to buy on DVD in the UK and America, really cheap, I guess. I don't know if it's available on streaming sites at all. There's no Blu-ray for it. But I suppose, you know, with a movie like this, you're probably never going to get a Blu-ray of it because the fact it bombed so much. It's not really a movie that, because it wasn't shot in HD, I don't think a Blu-ray would make it anything special with its transfer. But for what it is, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie, and I would definitely recommend you checking it out if it ever pops up on your list of films that you need to see at some point. Like I say, it's nothing special, but it's okay. So thank you very much for checking out today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe and share with all your friends. Check out in the links below for my official Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, as well as the Patreon site that we have. And of course, check out my YouTube channel for all the previous videos that I've made. So thank you very much for tuning in, and all the very best. Goodbye.